So we're making a little video. Erica's here, and what we want this horse to do is he sells out when I touch the halter with my fingers, and he gets scared real easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to send him around in a circle, one lap each way. I'm going to say whoa, and I want him to yield his hindquarters and face up. And so we're going to put the tripod on this phone. Say hi, Erica.
Hi.
That's Erica. She's one of the kids that's cleaning stalls for lessons with her horse. Real proud of her. She did a good job too. Does that look like it sees most of the pen? You kind of twist it around a little bit. That look good to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to touch him, pet him. When you touch his halters, when he kind of freaks out, it's getting a little better. It's something we're going to work on today. You see that knot that's underneath his halter there? I'm going to slide that knot up. If he'll let me. If he won't, it's okay. It ain't going to come off. But this is the thing that he's troubled with, is when this halter moves around on his head. What I want him to do is just step up here so I can slide that knot up just a little bit. The knot makes this halter where it will fit about anything. I want him to step over here. There. I'm just looking for little bits of forward motion here. There. Yeah, he gets a pet. It doesn't have to be a big deal. He can't tolerate any pressure behind his ears to speak of, so it makes it a little bit difficult to slide this knot. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to leave it alone. And what I want him to do is just make a circle around here. I'm going to ask him to go. When you touch him, he'll sell out because he's scared. And what I want him to do is go when I ask him to and stop when I ask him to. Real simple lesson. But he's never had to do any of this stuff before. That stick is his friend. He lets me rub him pretty much anywhere I want. That's why I use one of these things. Because when you get close to him, your body adds pressure. And he's right on the edge of having as much pressure as he can stand. So, I'm going to have this horse go. You can tell that he doesn't know much about forward motion unless he's running away. Woo. And he stopped. And he gets a pet. Every single time. A little thing to your horse might be a big thing to him. Now, I want him to go forward when he feels pull pressure. The pull pressure is what there he goes. I just want one circle. Now I'm going to say, whoa, whoa. Now I want to pet him. Yeah, good. And I'm going to play with this halter. Every time I pet him, I'm going to touch this halter because it bothers him when you touch the halter. Now I'm going to give him a direction. I want one circle. Woo. I'm going to pet him again. He did good. There. Want him to let me touch that halter so I can get him used to that pressure. Now we'll go the other way. He don't want me on this side, and that's okay. It's his right. Whoa. And it's not the same kind of wool that you're going to get with a, you know, a reiner or something. This is just getting him to look at me, stand still, and let me pet him. And I want to be able to make him move forward. He doesn't know a lot about forward motion. What I mostly am working on, more than anything, is when he gets scared, he sells out. Well, I want to prove to him that he can move and not be in any trouble. But he can also stop and not be in any trouble. This is one of the first steps to teaching him how to control his emotions. And trust me, I'm going to give him a direction. There's forward motion. Didn't have to hit him. If you've seen some violence there, you were seeing the wrong thing. Now, that's 2 circles. Whoa. I want him to look at me so I can pet him. I just want him to let him know that he can be petted. And I'm petting him with this rope. Now I'm going to pet him with my fingers and touch that halter and move it around. Put my fingers in his mouth, if he'll let me. Pet him again. Yes. Now I'm going to give him a direction and let him go. And then stop him. I'm touching his jaw. There's that circle. Forward. See if we can get 2 out of him. Woo. Now he has to relax. There. Now, if you think this horse is going to strike you, don't do what I just did. I can read this horse. He's never offered to strike me or bite me. That doesn't mean that he couldn't, but I would like to get this horse to where I could just walk up to him, pet him on the forehead, and it would feel good to both of us. But once again, think. Read your little horse. If you think he's going to squat and strike you, use your stick and pet him. I'd rather have this stick struck than me. But if you're not sure how to tell if your horse is going to strike you, you need to be super careful. Yeah. Because if your horse strikes you very much, it'll ruin him. I don't want to ruin a horse. This way. See if we can get a couple circles out of him. Is this lesson making sense to you, Erica?
Yeah.
Do you think that it's going to help him in the long run?
Yeah.
Woo. I'm going to pet him with my rope. If he's creeping backwards, I'll pet him with my stick. And then I'll pet him with my rope. Now I'll take the rope away. I want to walk up here and pet him with my hand. Lots of pets. This horse has never had to do anything that it didn't want to do. And what that means is he's not a bad horse. He just doesn't know. You get good at what you practice. And if you practice not being around people, you get good at not being around people. You want this horse to be good around people? You need to spend time with it. That's what you do. You get good at what you practice. I'm going to give him a direction. And he's just now starting to step his shoulder across. Let's see if I can change him. There. Real proud of it. This horse is trying his butt off. Couple of circles. There. Woo. You can see this pin, this little pin here has a patience pole in the middle. If you, sometimes, I've had some pretty big aged horses in here, and if they won't bend, some of them just won't bend. Some of them would just rather just stampede off and stay that way. I'll use this like a single pillar. Let's see if I can give you a little short demonstration of that. I'm going to ask him to step across here. I want to change direction. There. Now I'll go over the top of that rope. Whoa. Now I'm going to pet him. And if you don't have to, you know, I don't expect anybody to have this thing. I have two of them. Robbie Cook made them for me and they work real good. Now I'm going to see if I can get him to move while that's still on the pole. This has more feel than my hand does, believe it or not. This doesn't give, the horse gives. When a horse is pulling on your hands, if you don't have impeccable timing, you could pull it the wrong time. You could. Now I'm going to have him step over. There. Whoa. 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 He doesn't know enough about forward motion and stopping to use this pole. So we'll have to use it a different time. I'm petting with this stick because it's the tool I'm using. I'm going to touch his jaw, give him a direction. There. I need a circle. Woo. Woo. Yeah. Woo. Whoa, whoa. He's not being bad. My job is to teach him and get him lighter and lighter and lighter. My job's to teach. If he's not doing something right, it's because I showed him the wrong way. Having put pole pressure really scared him. So, like that right there, he'd get pressure on his neck or on the back of his head and freak out. Woo. So every time we stop him here, we're putting pressure on his pole a little bit, aren't we? So for him to get good at not being bothered by pole pressure, we have to turn that bad thing to him into a good thing. So he feels pole pressure, he faces up, and everything goes away. He gets a chill. Pretty quick, pole pressure is going to be something that he feels it, he shuts her down, and he looks. And then we'll build on that. Instead of throwing his head up in the air, freaking out for the rest of his life. I'm going to point that way. What he needs, when he needs it. Whoa. Whoa. And the reason that I'm letting him take a couple of steps in is because he was so worried about being close to me. We can adapt this as he gets further in the program to yield that hindquarters turn on his forehand and stay out there. But right now I want him to know that I am comfort. Right there I touched his halter and it bothered him, so I'm going to go back and pet him and touch it again. There. There. Now we're going to go the other way. Give him a direction. I wanted him to go the other way. There he goes. Woo. Woo. And every time he feels that pressure on his face, and he faces up, woo, he gets to be petted, and he don't have to worry anymore. And every time I touch that halter, it gets better and better and better. And that's all we can expect, is for it to get better and better and better. Now, I'm going to pet him here on the neck. Woo. Woo. Hey, buddy. There's that jaw. Easy. Go up there and pet that neck. Whoa. There. Now I'm going to woo. 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 I'll try petting this shoulder. What I'll do is I'll get my handy dandy stick again and I'll pet him on the neck. There. Now I'll pet his shoulder. There. So if you think this stick's evil, you watched me try to pet him with my hand. No dice. But if this stick was evil, he wouldn't let me pet him on the neck or the shoulder with this stick, would he? I don't think so. So now, thing about that, they don't have any depth perception. So I go like this. Now I'll take this hand and follow that up there and pet him on the neck. Pet him on the shoulder. Take the stick away. Oh, buddy, you're a good boy. And that's a continuing saga of the little POA gelding. Let's see if I can touch his mouth. Not so much, not yet. Maybe the next video. But working with these troubled horses, that does not mean that the horse is bad. The horse is not bad. The horse just doesn't know. Put yourself in the horse's position. If you started a new job and didn't know how to do your job, and all they did was abuse you because you couldn't do your job, instead of teaching you, how long would you stay at that job? I'm trying to put myself in this little horse's position. And what I'm trying to do is show this horse that there's other responses to stimulus besides freaking out. I want him to know that when he's with me, he gets a heck of a lot more pets and rubs and scratches than he does hit. And you never saw me hit this horse once. This horse has to go forward when I ask him to go forward. And he has to stop when I ask him to stop. That's part of his kindergarten deal. And he has to let me touch him and not be afraid. And we do little things every day head him to that direction. We don't want him to leave. So right now we've got pull pressure on him. You see that front foot step forward? The pull pressure went away. All we want's 1 foot forward. Right there, he's taking a step back. There's a forward step. Now I want him to step forward again. So I'm just going to hold here. I'm touching his pole. You see that foot come forward? We're teaching him that pull pressure means come forward. Then we'll be able to tie him up and stuff. Pull pressure. Pull pressure. Right there. It all goes away and he gets a pet. We keep doing that. Eventually, he'll be broke. We just show him correct responses to stimulus. We reward him when he tries, and instead of punish him for failing, we educate him. We educate the ignorance and reward the slightest try. Ignorance isn't a bad word. It's just the absence of knowledge. Our job is to be a teacher, not punish. Now right here, remember the halter scares him when I touch it? I'm going to hold this here and touch that halter right there. He didn't freak out. That's better than it was. I'm going to touch this halter here. There! He damn near stepped forward. He was thinking about it. It was more than he could bear. He couldn't quite pull the trigger. That's okay. He'll be all right. This is a nice little horse. Going to be a good one. Touch him, walk away. I hope that was of some value to you folks. The continuing saga of the Appaloosa Gelded. Bye.